Okay, so we're using titanium buff and a bit of burnt umber, and we're painting the background. I think we're not going to need more than one layer, but for now, we'll just paint that color, and I think it will look really nice with everything happening around. And if we feel after that we want to do more for the background, we can do that. We can add the color. We can add any design we want. Just don't use too much burnt umber in there. Mostly titanium buff. Just burnt umber just to make the titanium buff a little bit more warmer. And it will go with what she's wearing, you know, that brownish kind of warm colors. I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll move on to hair before I do another layer. I will have to turn it around for a minute. That looks funny. Jeez. All right, let's go this way. I'm just waiting to, I can't wait to do the cake.
Me too.
I was looking forward to the handbag, actually.
Oh, yeah, that too. That too.
Boy, that burned umber on the background is really visible. It's coming through.
From the paint, the first layer we put, right? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it's coming. I can still see it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, no, it's actually nice to see it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I like that too, when you can see the pre-wash that we put.
too much.
Do we see the chair she's sitting on? No, we can't see the chair. Okay. It's good. Let's take a break. That looks good. All right, so we're going to do the hair right now. So I'm using the burnt umber I have and burnt sienna. And I'm going to do a bit of the darks first. Because we need some darks for the to show depth. So I'm going between brown, burnt umber, and I can put burnt sienna over that or in between. And then we will highlight. So we're just right now putting the color base. Especially behind her ear, that will be darker right here. This part as well. I'm gonna go back with the off-white and open up a bit, make it more strand, like show strand of hair. And with this part here as well, the same. I was waiting to do the background, finish the background 100% before I put these, but I'm gonna put some right now. Like that. Just open up the chart. It's better. Same here. We can just give it a bit of movement like that, and eventually go back in and open it up from outside, from the, from negative painting. Reshape her hair a bit. That's too much. But something like that. Okay. That looks good. So we need to highlight now. To highlight, let's see if I can use this and what I will get. Yeah, we can use burnt sienna and add a bit of titanium buff in it to get the highlights. Okay, let's see how I'm going to do this so you can see what I'm doing. We might need a bit of red in here. Let's do that. What kind of red? Yeah, cadmium red light. With burnt sienna and a bit of titanium buff, so it's not just red by itself. Let's see. Otherwise, it will look too red if you don't. It's just to make the burnt sienna brighter, more vibrant. Because I found that titanium buff is dulling, it's making the burnt sienna dull. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's good. I like that. So it's burnt sienna is the main color for the hair, and burnt umber is to darken, and cadmium red light is to is there for to when we highlight, to make those, to show the highlights, if we use burnt sienna and you add any kind of titanium buff or white to it, it turns dull. It turns pink. So to keep it bright, I added to my burnt sienna and titanium buff, I added cadmium red light. Now I'm going to go back, use burnt sienna and take burnt umber in it, put burnt umber in it, and darken this even actually use just burnt umber, darken the base, this part that's under, usually there in some areas where, see that looks much better, because I can see the highlighted area. I can see those strands that are highlighted, because in between there's dark. There's only burnt sienna, burnt umber, sorry, burnt umber.
Did you say you use titanium white for the highlight?
Buff.
Yeah. Okay.
Titanium buff. So now what I'm doing is I'm going back with a bit of burnt umber in between. And, you know, when you highlight, sometimes if you highlight too much, it becomes, it looks flat. So to make it more vibrant again, or to make the strands, to show the strands, you go in between and you add a bit of dark. Don't be afraid of using a bright red, you know, like with the burnt sienna. So I'm using now, I'm enhancing the red a bit where the hair comes out more. I'm putting a little bit more of red in here. Now this layer I'm putting right now is, I added a little bit more titanium buff to this orangey, bright orange, and I'm highlighting the strands a little bit more in certain areas, not everywhere. That makes it look really bright or light at in this area. I'm gonna go over this because those strands look like they're perfect right next to each other. Like I'm gonna mess them up a bit, overlap them a bit. Yeah, right here.
So you're using titanium buff, burnt sienna, and red?
Yes, for the highlights. Yeah. And if I see that I made a, you know, it's the highlight is too flat, like there's a big area here where it's flat, which is actually not bad. I like it, but I can go in between and use burnt umber and burnt sienna to open up or reshape my. This is not supposed to look realistic. We're doing more of a kind of illustration type. We're not going for real.
Looks like those magazine covers.
Mm. I'm glazing this part with burnt sienna because I found, you know, I find that this part is a bit too highlighted. So I glazed it. So yes, to highlight, burnt sienna, titanium buff, red. And you can adjust your highlight or the red or the, you know, if you want it more burnt sienna, more titanium buff, less red. It depends on, oh, see now, see that should go a little bit lighter down up here. And if I find that I highlighted too much and it's needs to be toned down, I just glaze it with burnt sienna. You know, acrylics dries darker and it shifts, the color shifts when you're, you know, you put the color and then you think this is how it's going to be. And then you, when it dries, you'll find that no, it's not. So you just have to keep adjusting.
It was cadmium red light, not medium, correct?
Light, yes, light, because light is more orangey. If you put medium, it turns pink. Okay. For the lips, I'm going to use burnt sienna and cadmium red light. And if I want to darken, I'm going to use burnt umber. So round brush, and I'm going to make sure that I'm highlighting the area where there's light, not all of the whole lips, because that part here, this part is dark, but I am going to push this color in to the dark part and highlight from here out. So I'm going to take cadmium red light at this point. Try to highlight from here to here. And down here. trying not to leave a line.
Could you zoom a little closer?
Sure. Just 1 minute. I need to adjust the focus. I'm taking a bit of the titanium buff and I'm putting it in my mixture of burnt sienna and red. And take my reference to see what I'm doing. Ah, okay. So now I'm going to highlight over here. Don't take your highlight all the way down, just here. If you take it all the way down, then the lip will look flat. Same top, just highlight the top of the lip.
You put titanium buff in it?
Yeah, because that's the only way I can highlight. Again, I'm going to take a little bit of titanium buff into that mixture. Very little. Don't take it, don't take too much. Don't put too much. And again. Now again, the same idea. If I find that my highlight is too strong at this point, I can go back and glaze. Just have to wait for it to dry a bit. Now take a bit off at this point while this is drying. Burnt umber. And I think it is a bit too highlighted, so let's glaze it. It's the same. It's burnt sienna and a bit of red. And I'm just glazing and softening. And I'm going to go in with more burnt sienna. And make sure the bottom part of the lip is a little bit darker. Down here. All right. Right, you know, I can't see what you're seeing because I am not seeing anything magnified here. Like it's not zoomed. I'm not zooming in. Like I'm not zoom where I'm painting. What I'm painting is not what you're seeing. Okay. Start all over again. I'm zooming on the computer here. When I look at it, I can see more when I look at the screen, more than what I'm seeing here, because this is small and this is on the screen, it's big. So it's better on the screen. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. I just need to adjust this little thing that this here. So lips usually they go out here, in, and then kind of out a bit down here. So this part in, I'm trying to adjust it. All right, I think that's good. We'll put the earring next week. All right, so tonight we did the hair, background hair, and lips. Next week, we're going to work on the jewelry, her earrings, and her ring, and then we will start on the newspaper.